He wins Church's trust with a stake, only to grab this poor cat actor by the scruff of its neck and stick it in the butt with some poison. Oh man, this cat actor's death acting is making me feel bad. And Lewis's taunting isn't doing anything more. And then walks into the hallway where he gets boo scared by his wife's hanging body. Yo, how'd a baby get a full-grown ass woman up in the attic like that? Oh, maybe because he has a scary baby doll now. Oh, the doll fell down, and now he's back to human. Back to doll, back to human. Scary doll. That's fun. Gage slashes and stabs at Lewis with the scalpel before his father manages to toss him to the ground, because, like, you know, he is still a baby. When Gage goes to get him again, Lewis just grabs the toddler and sticks him in the neck with his goodnight juice. Aw, poor Gage. Oh my god, look at those big watery eyes.
No fair. No fair, no fair.
That kid is the cutest little murderer I've ever... Oh, did that kid just hit his head? Gage dies once again, and Lewis takes a metal can of gasoline to the...
Okay.
An Adam Sandler-esque property.
That's a good story.
Where family animals have been buried by generations of grieving children. A dead pet is one of the saddest things I can think of, but as we'll hear many times throughout this movie,
Sometimes dead.
welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Pet Sematary, released in 1989 and based on the 1983 Stephen King novel. I read Pet Sematary last year when I heard about the upcoming remake. It's really depressing. In fact, it wasn't even published until 5 years after King wrote it, since he was so... reluctant to have such a dark story released. I absolutely loved it, but this 1989 screen adaptation? Not so much. You'd think that with the screenplay by Mr. King himself, it'd be just as good as the memorably morose source material, but instead, the movie kinda just lurches around like the undead beings it depicts, staggering from plot point to plot point until we finally get to the admittedly cool final sequence. Pet Sematary is about a doctor named Lewis Creed who's just moved his family to Ludlow, Maine. Their property includes a path to a pet cemetery where family animals have been buried by generations of grieving children. A dead pet is one of the saddest things I can think of, but as we'll hear many times throughout this movie,
Sometimes dead is better.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Fred Gwynn, Herman Frickin' Munster, plays Lewis's neighbor Judd Crandall. He's the best part of the movie, especially the way he does Judd's heavy Maine accent that was a big part of the character in the book. How many victims will this movie put in the ground? Let's find out and get to the kills, The movie begins in the titular pet cemetery, which has gotta be the most depressing place you can think of. Just a bunch of dead kitty cats and good boys? No, the boy Gage gets a little too friendly with the trucks on the road. In fact, this precocious poopy butt walks straight in watched if not for Judd Crandall, the Creed family's new neighbor. They thank him for his baby scooping and ask him about a trail they've discovered on their property. About death, I mean, who doesn't, right? But Judd reckons that kid's gotta learn about death. Buried his own dog, Spot, here in 1924. Cool graveyard, Judd, but what's with that deadfall over there? Or should I say, undeadfall? Dun dun dun. The cemetery trip gets Ellie scared about Church dying, so hopefully this dude can convince his daughter that Church will be fine.
Honey, Church will be fine.
Yeesh, ain't nobody buying it with that sales technique. No wonder she ends up crying about it. What the fuck ever, though. Ellie gets to go to sleep with Church tucked in right next to her? What? That's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Lucy, why don't you do that at bedtime?
To make Church less of a wildcat,